Hello and welcome back to the Skipper's View podcast, episode 173. Getting in a trend now where it's just, Hagen and I were ripping these episodes and I'm loving it. I'm loving the rapport we're building here, East Coast to West Coast, and getting some multiple takes. So, Hagen, how was your weekend?
It was good. It's good. It's nice to be talking ball again, and very frequently on the show now, which is it's nice. I really like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ethan was going to try and join us. He texted me. He's like, I got to take an exam. And he's like, then I have to do a paper that's due by midnight. I was like, all right, good luck with that one.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it though. The hot corner this week, and I think I need to hear your take first. By the way, what's the highest level of baseball you played? Did you play through high school?
Yeah, I played till high school.
Okay. So, and did you play any college ball or no?
No, I did not.
Okay. I always
I was
forget who in
lost.
our group did play college because we have a bunch of guys who played like high school and some college ball, but Jurickson Profar. Ben and Jeb obviously covered this on Tomahawk Chop with their podcast over there, but Jurickson Profar, how is this guy? And it makes all the sense in the world that he's on PEDs. He had like a resurrection season last year. He's older, and now he got an 80-game suspension for testing positive. It was for a fertility drug test taken after steroids. What I found. What do you think about this? Like, are you like hard? If you're a cheater, you're a cheater. You shouldn't be allowed to play again, or like, I don't know what to
I'm
do
not.
with these guys anymore.
I'm not on the sense of if you're a cheater, you should be like, all right, you're banned, you're out of the game. I think multiple times I would think so, but I'm still against these guys, obviously, because I was a big Jurgensen Profar fan, especially after his breakout last year. And I mean, you don't really see guys who are top prospects pan out 10 years later and kind of have your breakout when you're 32, 33 years old, whatever he was. It sucks for him. I mean, it doesn't suck for him because he obviously did it and he's losing money for it, but it sucks for the Braves because this was their real big off-season acquisition. And even Braves fans already were saying they should have made more signings in the off-season, and this is the guy they went after. And he was the only one that was really looking good for him. He's looking really good so far in the first three games that he played, but it just sucks for the Braves, and it's a huge blow for them when they were already 1-8, I believe, and struggling. And he was kind of the guy that was signed to almost fill in with that outfield until Acuna came back. And without him, that outfield looks awful.
Yeah, and we can see here, his last year, he's 32 years old. And this is according to Baseball Reference. Like, it was his lone All-Star season. It's really tough to like argue for the guy. He finished top 15 MVP and won a Silver Slugger last year at age 31. And you see all the seasons before. He's played hundreds of games. He's played thousands of games. He's 1,100 career MLB games under his radar. He finally goes off and he's an all-star. And now you get caught with PEDs. That's really, like, no matter what it is, fertility tests or all, that's really tough to sell to me that, like, I should give you the benefit of the doubt. And that's where I'll stand on it. I don't need to linger on about it. It sucks for the Braves. He just got that, it was 3 years, $42 million extension deal with the Braves this offseason. And yeah, Braves can't seem to catch a break these last 2 years, which is crazy because their roster's so talented. Like there's not a lot of guys I don't like on the Braves. Right?
Exactly. They really can't catch a break. And I mean, we even guys like Strider and Acuna are still coming back from injury. Last year, it seemed like everything went wrong except for the pitching. Like every dude on offense was getting hurt or they had down years. And they still won 90 games, 89 games. And even as a Mets fan, it's awesome kind of seeing the Braves suck like this. But as a baseball fan, I do just want to see all these guys healthy and see what they are because I believe they're just talent-wise the second best team in baseball behind the Dodgers.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna try something new this week. We try to keep these episodes between 30, under 40, typically under 30, and then Dean does a real good job chopping it up and cutting down our spaces and our uhs on these. So thank you, Dean, if you're listening, which I'm sure you will. Let's start with the American League East. Let's just go East to West Coast, American League, and then we'll go national. So big things I've caught from like these first 10 games, we'll call it opening week, I guess. I think that's the fairest way to describe it. Clearly you got the Yankees sitting at the top of the division at 6-3. Boston's right behind them, followed by Toronto, Tampa, and then Baltimore. I think Baltimore is a team with their pitching. They can't really have a slow start. that it's a little concerning. Gunnar Henderson's expected back. He might already have a hit actually today, or I think he's coming up this week. Sorry, I didn't get the whole story on Henderson, but he's been dealing with injuries. Adley Rutschman's been playing well, which is good to see, but they really need a hot start in this division. And I thought that, but leading into the season, same with the Yankees, which is great that the Yankees are, starting off, they are starting off hot. Let's look at it though. Baltimore, they did suffer Colton Cowser. He's heading to the 10-day IL with a fractured left thumb. So he's out for a month and a half to 2 months. It's going to say, how big is this of a deficit for the Orioles here, Hagen?
I think this is a huge loss for them. Obviously, we saw what he did last year as a rookie and how good of a player he really is. And it takes away that offensive firepower they really have in there. And I think their offense is deep enough where it's not a game changer, where it's, oh shit, we got our best player gone or whatever. If it's like a Gunner was out for this period of time, but I mean, it still hurts. I mean, when you lose an all-star caliber player, especially early on in the season, he's going to get 2 months. He didn't even get his feet underneath him, and then by the time he comes back, it's going to take him another few weeks to get his feet underneath him again. It's a big blow for him, but at the same time, you're getting Gunnar Henderson back, so I think it's Gunnar Henderson's better than Colton Cowser, so it evens out in a way. But it sucks for them.
Yeah, no doubt. I saw Yankees, they so Dominic Smith, interesting story. He exercised his opt-out clause when it became very apparent that he wasn't going to be joining the team. And then he now has re-signed with the Yankees on a minor league deal. He had a solid spring, and he's an extra bat the Yankees could use, given, the injuries they're seeing with Stanton at DH and moving guys around. So we'll see how that plays out. Judgy, he got and this is, just a milestone for him. He got his 500th career extra base hit. He's the third fastest Yankee to reach this. The only guys he's behind on this list is Joe DiMaggio and Lou Gehrig. I'm so sick of hearing people critique Judge. He's a menace, dude. At the play, I don't know how he just destroys baseballs from the batter's box. And he's just an awesome dude to follow. I don't think he doesn't give me any reasons to dislike him. So I love to see this for him, especially because we know he's not going to have the career accolades at the end of his career, given that he came up later in life up to the bigs. So kudos to Aaron Judge. And my only other big takeaway, obviously Mason Montgomery for Tampa Bay. He's been looking like a dog out of the bullpen. I put a piece out on him. Toronto, is Toronto. And then Boston, they're above 500, but Rafael Devers stinks right now. Batting 167, 0 home runs, negative .1 WAR. They need their, all-star third baseman dash DH dash first base, whatever they want to call him nowadays, to step up. But it is early in the season, so I have no doubt he will get back on. Hagen, do you want to lead us through the American League Central?
Yeah, so starting with the Central here, Jose Ramirez last night on Saturday, he had a 3 home run game against the Angels that actually tied the record too for most multi-home run games with it was his 26th career multi-homer game, which is honestly ridiculous. And he's been raking, and honestly, it's every year it's almost he's the most underrated player. But if everyone knows you're the most underrated player in baseball, are you really the most underrated player in baseball? That's the way I think about it. But he's still, I feel like, underrated, and he's a top 10 player.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you that. So he almost went 40-40 last year. He's 31 or some years old. He's in his 30s. Right? J-Ram's 31.
I think he's 31.
I'm fact checking myself on that. But he is incredible. And I feel just because the city, and this is kind of crazy to say because I don't believe in small ball, small cities, they can't attract stars. He's 32. But J-Ram I feel it's getting better. If that's possible with age. And people don't, you hear Shohei, you hear Judge, you hear Altuve, you hear all these guys, Bryce Harper. People do not bring up J-Ram for some reason nearly as much as the others. I don't get it. J-Ram is equally as talented those guys, if not better than some of those guys. He's got speed, he can hit, and he's an excellent fielder. Where would you put him in the top 10? Do you think he's a top 5 player in baseball?
No, I do not.
No.
I have him the back end of the top 10, if I had to say, because I don't think he's quite good enough, even though how good of a player he is, to be a top 5 player in baseball. I put him anywhere between that 7 to 12 range. Guys with Jordan, Gunnar Henderson, I would take over him. You can make the argument for Vlad, Kyle Tucker up there, Bryce Harper's up there, but I'd say he's anywhere between 7 and 10, probably where I'd put him.
7 to 10. And you know what? Because like I know he's like obviously the defense. He's never won a Gold Glove. And then I just looked. I was like, of course, because Matt Chapman's won like 3 or 4 since 2018. And then you've had Longoria, you've had Adrian Beltre in the league, Machado with the Orioles. He's had a lot of Isaiah kind of Falefa is the only one in 2020. Like that one's tough. But and Ramon Urias, he won one too. So never won a Gold Glove, but he is a solid defender. Don't let the lack of defensive accolades there just make you think otherwise. Let's jump to Gleyber Torres. So Detroit, they needed bats this offseason. Everyone knew it. They also needed pitching. They went out and signed Gleyber. He now lands himself on the 10-day IL with a strained left oblique. I don't know if this is that big for them. Like it's not like Kerry Carpenter or Riley Green going down. That being said, though, this is an oblique, and I feel like these oblique injuries in baseball have been lasting a lot longer on guys than shorter. So he could be out. I'm not going to say for an extensive amount of time, but he could be out for a little bit, like, maybe a month. Who knows? Obliques are no joke. Let's jump to the West. Let's see. Let's start with what happened today. Victor Robles, did you see the catch that he made
Yeah,
in
that was
right field?
amazing.
Okay, so Dean posted about this. I have the video right here, and I'm going to play it. But Victor Robles makes this outstanding catch in right field. The crazy thing, though, is that even though he made the catch, he had to get carted off the field for it looked disgusting, as if he, may have. Here we go. You can see it for yourselves. So
And now who?
as you can see, they say he's holding his knee, but what happened was when he hit the net, his arm like bent backwards. So it was kind of gross. What happened to his left arm? It looked like he had to roll the ball out. He was in so much pain. You feel really bad for the guy. Like he's been like really good since joining with Seattle and getting his opportunity again. Um, thoughts and prayers out to Victor Robles. We do not like to see that, or Victor Robles, however you do pronounce it. And then
Robles.
Robles. And then another injury here in the West that no bueno. I should have highlighted. Mike Trout had 3 straight games with a home run this week. Would love to see that. But Luis Garcia Jr. will be shut down for another month due to elbow inflammation after undergoing TJ surgery 2 years ago. So he hasn't pitched since May of 2023, and he was expected to be ready for this year. And everything was setbacks. They don't even know if he's going to return this year. So he might not pitch a baseball for 2024, 2025, almost 3 full years before he's back. If things go for the worst, which would be awful for Luis Garcia Jr. I would hate to see that. Is there anything else in the West I'm missing? I don't think so. Nothing notable, but Texas looks good. Have you watched Texas at all?
I've watched a little bit of Texas, not too much, honestly, though, but they've looked pretty good so far from what I've seen. And obviously, DeGrom got a little roughed up yesterday. I want to say it was his first start since 2019 that he allowed more than 4 runs and had less than 5 strikeouts. So, as a big DeGrom fan, that one hurts me a bit. But the Rangers, I think, are fine. They're still, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best teams in the American League still.
Yeah, they're definitely excellent. And what I will mention, I don't know if you caught it, but I literally wrote a blog about Mason Montgomery this week and how he's been excellent. And Wyatt Langford smoked a ball off him this week, which I love to see for Langford. But yeah, poor Mason Montgomery just got rocked by Langford to left field. Yeah, and I think Ethan actually, he posted something about that on Twitter. So it was
Yeah.
good to see that Langford coming into form. I got him a bunch of fantasy drafts this year. I'm sure a lot of people were in on him, hoping for a second year breakout. Let's jump to the National League. Hagen, you want to start with your Mets? What do you like this week from the Mets?
I love the pitching. The offense hasn't been there yet, but I don't know if you're aware, but the Mets lead baseball in ERA right now. They have a
Do
191
that
ERA team.
as a team. So that's starting and bullpen.
Starting in bullpen, I
Okay.
want to say they have number 2, they're second in starter ERA, but the number 1 in bullpen ERA. I mean, they've had, if you take away Danny Young, who's kind of thrown in there, he's probably not going to be on the roster for much longer. They've only allowed 1 or 2 earned runs. This bullpen is amazing right now. I mean, you have Max Kranick up there, who's kind of the unknown guy who's came out of that bullpen this year. He's faced 22 batters so far. He's retired 21 of them, and he's just a guy out of nowhere who made camp last day. This bullpen's really phenomenal. I mean, Edwin Diaz in the back end, it's always extremely shaky with him, and the ninth innings are never clean. I mean, he hit two guys today, but this bullpen is amazing. And I was preaching all offseason about how you don't ever doubt a David Stearns built bullpen. Like last year, it's different, but this year is he has depth too. Because even if any of these guys go down, I feel comfortable with probably 4 or 5 arms in AAA that I could feel comfortable with putting them in high leverage situations.
Wow. I'm now looking at this. I did not know the Mets were the only team sub 2. That's wild. Let's play a little quick fun game. So we can see here that the Brewers suck. Almost a 6 ERA. So let's look at this. Brewers, will they finish with a team cumulative ERA of a sub 3.75 at the end of the year? Yes, no.
That's tough. That's a good line. I think I'm going to go slightly over just because the starters to me.
Yeah. What about the Guardians at a 509? Do we think they have a sub 3? We'll go the same number, 3.75.
I go under on that just because of how heavily they use their bullpen. And I mean, it's not very often you see pitchers for them going into the sixth inning as a starter. And we already know that bullpen last year was almost historically good. So I think the bullpen will whack up a lot of innings and it will get that number below.
You know what's crazy? I'm looking at the Baltimore Orioles right now. That I don't think that number's going to move too much. Like maybe we'll get a little better, but I'm not sold on their pitching. I'm really not. Oh, the Braves at a 4.36 at 17 explains why they're 1-8 right now. Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
A
The
big part of
White
that
Sox
too.
are a top 12 team with a 4.02 right now. They're probably going to regress, but that's good for them. Well, we can move on from pitching statistics here, but yeah, the Mets also. Speaking of pitching, though, Sean Manaea, he got shut down for another 2 weeks due to his oblique, injury and his recovery. Don't like to see that. And then this week, Juan Soto, Lindor, they all were, talking in a positive way about Mets going after Sandy Alcantara down in Miami. This is all according to Mike Puma of the New York Post. Thoughts, Hagen. Obviously, we both love Sandy Alcantara. In my opinion, I think he could be a top 5 pitcher in baseball when he's on. But what type of deal are the Mets going to have to offer Miami in order to get Sandy Alcantara, who has, I think he has, I'll look this up while you're answering, in terms of how many years of control he has. I think it's like 3 or 4.
I want to say
And
2027, I believe.
and Sandy Alcantara is disgusting. Like, the Marlins are in division. They're not going to want to verse this guy all the time, especially in their division. What do you think the Mets are going to have to give up prospect-wise if they want to actually get a deal done with Sandy during the season this year?
I'm glad you asked me that on what the deal would be because I don't think I've had more of a mocked trade in my entire life than a Mets for Sandy. As Mets fans, I've been doing this since November, creating mock trades for Sandy and going back and forth with a bunch of people on what it will take. And I think a lot of Mets fans, when they put out there, undersell the value of what Sandy is. I think they don't really realize that he's a top 5 pitcher on the planet when he's healthy and he's going right. So I would prefer not to trade away Brandon Sproat, our top pitching prospect, or just top prospect overall. But I think you got to get rid of him if you want to make a deal done for him. And I think to go along with that too, you might have to give up a Jet Williams, your number 2 prospect, and then maybe another back end top 10 guy. And then I think that's still not enough. I think throwing Brett Beatty, I know he's looked awful at the plate so far. The metrics look a lot better than the performance does, but I think you're taking it's like 4 good pieces because especially too Peter Bendix, there's gonna be a lot of teams that are being trying to get a Sandy. I mean, your Yankees are gonna probably be a team in on them, and they're gonna have a lot of teams bidding for him, especially with the years of control with them too. It's gonna take a lot. I think he's gonna get traded for I think more than what you would expect just because of that.
Yeah, Yankees, I think, are definitely going to try and be in on him, but the only guy they can move that is really worth like Sandy in terms of the Marlins, like Peter Bendix is no dummy. He's actually one of the best GMs in all of baseball. That's why they went out and got him. The Yankees would have to move like George Lombard Jr., and I think George Lombard Jr. is going to be a dog. I think the Yankees already have done their damn. Like, they'll get Garrett Cole back. They have Rodon for another couple of years. They just signed free to an 8-year deal. They have Will Warren, who, you know, Give them some time. And the pitching development in the Yankees, they've been doing a pretty solid job internally of producing guys. And I'm not even mentioning like Clark Schmidt. Um, you know, let's also think the bullpen's really nice for the Yankees. They're not gonna, they're just gonna sign relievers. They're not gonna, get worse in the bullpen department. So I just don't think they're going to be able to play ball with the Mets in terms of prospect value in a deal like that. But like I would think an interesting trade. Who needs pitching and who has a lot of prospects? And when I think, I was going to say Baltimore. Baltimore. I was trying to give them some pot. Thank you for reading my mind. Baltimore again, Sandy. It's a match made in heaven. It needs to happen. Get rid of Kobe Mayo. He's miserable in AAA. Like, let him go play for the Marlins. Plus, didn't the Marlins just whiff on a third base draft pick from what's the kid from LSU?
Tommy Tanks? Did they?
What? No, Jacob Berry. You remember? Yeah, like they took him like in the first or second round, I think, and he just has not been good. And he was third base. So like, get Kobe Mayo. You have Connor Norby now. Like, just keep doing deals with Baltimore. If not, another team that I thought would do well with this, unfortunately, the Dodgers. The Dodgers could trade for Sandy. I don't know if there's any other teams with great hitting, not so good pitching that have a lot of prospects. It's a very specific
I
ask.
I think another team that'd be a sneaky one would be the Cubs because in my mind you can't just make this Kyle Tucker deal because I'll eat my words if I'm wrong on this. There's no way in hell the Cubs are re-signing Kyle Tucker. They've never signed anyone over $185 million, and Kyle Tucker's going to get 400. I mean, I don't know what he get, but more than double whatever the Cubs have given out. And I just don't think the Ricketts are ready to open up their wallets yet, in my opinion. Gladly eat my words, and I hope they do sign him back. I think if you went out and you got a Sandy, it's not like he's just a deadline move that you get for 2 months and then you're just kind of wasting prospects for that. I mean, you're going to get him for multiple years. The Cubs have a good team too. I think we already seen Kyle Tucker can be really good for him, and they have a few good pitchers on there with Shota, Browns or not Hunter Brown, Justin
Justin
Steele,
Steele, Ben Brown.
Ben Brown.
Yeah,
That's what.
I agree. I think they could, and they got some prospects. Yeah, I don't know why. I like lived in Chicago for 4 years. I get that the Chicago Cubs, they play like in the city. Have you been to Chicago?
When I was a little kid.
Okay, so like Wrigley's like in the upper like part of the city, like uptown I'd call it. And the White Sox are for all the people that you hang out with, they are on the south side. So easy train to go either way. People are just not traveling to the White Sox. They're not the traditional Chicago team. I don't think the Cubs are going to retain Tucker either. I think Cubs fans are kind of like blinded by their success. What did they win in 2016? They finally won the World Series.
Yeah.
I think that they still think that they're, a big boy team, but it's like, no, you're like, even as a major city, you are I think a second tier team in Major League Baseball. I think there's like 7 teams, probably the elites. Actually, 7 teams can't be elite, but let's say there's like 3, 4 elite teams, and then there's like 3, 4 like very good teams, and then there's like the Cubs. And, like you got to say Houston. At this point, I'd still say they're elite. I'd still say the Yankees are elite. I'd still say the Dodgers are elite. The Padres are elite. That's 4 elite ball clubs. And then you got like the Mets. You got like the Rangers. Like the Rangers won a World Series 2 years ago, and they're still loaded.
The Red Sox look like they're going to be there soon. The
The Red
D-backs, you
Sox,
could
yeah,
argue,
the
are
Red
in there.
Sox, 100%. I love their roster way more than the Cubs roster right now. And then I'm trying to think. Baltimore's got a better lineup than Chicago, and then the Mariners pitching, like they're obviously losing record right now, but they can go sign a Tucker. They have so much pitching, and they have control over their pitching. They don't have, like, obviously I think Logan Gilbert's due a deal, or he just got one, but like George Kirby and Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, those are not expensive players right now. The Mariners should go pair up Tucker with Julio and add him to the fold. That'd be a sick add up as well.
And they have all this pitching right now, Seattle does, but I mean, they've shown that they were not really going to spend with the big dogs in free agency and even these guys. You don't have that many. Obviously, you have a few more years with these guys, but if you keep waiting another few years to sign a bat, you don't have that many years left of all 5 of these dudes in the rotation. And like I mean, Kirby's already hurt. I mean, historically, they've all stayed pretty healthy. I mean, Woo's already 100 innings a year-ish, but your time's running out with these guys and you can't keep them all.
Yeah, I love this discussion about Sandy Alcantara. We've been on this for a
Yeah.
hot second. I just looked at the agenda. I was like, oh my God, we still got some things to cover and not a whole lot of time. So let me run through this real quick. Atlanta, the Braves called up right-handed reliever Jesse Chavez, who's 41 years old, from AAA. They designated for assignment Hector Neris. He was notably one of the relievers with Houston. He was on Chicago a little bit. He was solid for a while, but he's gone now. Ronaldo Lopez, he's going to be out for a significant amount of time. He's going to undergo an arthroscopic procedure on his pitching shoulder. There's no timetable for his return. And this surgery it's like weird. The surgery will reveal if there's any structural damage. So his 2025 season is in flux right now. I hate to hear that for Atlanta, who just keeps taking body blows. We'll jump to the Central. What were you going to say?
Real
Sorry.
quick, I just want to say real quick one thing on each of those. With the Ronaldo Lopez thing, just Braves fans like Ben, Jeb, Brad, they all think that Ronaldo's done for the year. That's what they assume it as. So they're kind of assuming the worst. And then just a fun little stat on Jesse Chavez. I mean, everyone probably knows at this point. It's always the joke. He always ends up with the Braves. But so he got brought up by the Braves. I think he pitched one game. He got DFA'd by the Braves after, then elected free agency, and then signed back with the Braves. So he's in their minor leagues right now. And signing back, that was the 8th time in his career he signed with the Atlanta Braves. And that was the 2nd time in a week, and also the 7th time in 4 years. And that's from Baseball Doesn't Exist. Put that out there, which I thought was a good stat on him.
Dude, I'm glad you brought this up. Look at this Baseball Reference page. You need a freaking Venn diagram to figure out Jesse Chavez's career. Ladies and gentlemen, any listeners listening to this right now, Jesse Chavez is a journeyman. This is what a dog of a baseball player has gone through. He's 41 years old. He's been everywhere. Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Kansas City, Toronto, Oakland, Dodgers, and Angels. He went from the Dodgers to the Angels in 1 year. Same city. Then he went to Chicago, Texas again, Atlanta. Oh my goodness. This might be the most intriguing Baseball Reference page I've ever seen in terms of career progression.
It's
Oh my
honestly amazing. And
That's
and
insane.
historically, and it's funny too, because he always ends up back at the Braves, and he always does good with the Braves too. I mean, he has a 3.1 ERA and 223 innings with the Braves in his career. Like he always comes back no matter how old he is. I mean, 41 years old right now, and he just shoves.
That's insane. I'm flabbergasted at that one. The Central of the National League. Ellie had a massive night this week. He had 2 home runs, a stolen base, and 7 RBIs. That was Monday versus the Rangers. Kudos to Ellie. We love to see Ellie De La Cruz lighting it up. Carson Kelly, catcher for the Cubs. He's the first player in 2025 to hit for the cycle. And he was a catcher, which is notable that he did it. So, love to see that. I think I saw a stat as well. There's been like 17 triples so far this year, and 5 of them have been from catchers.
Really?
Yeah, it's like there's out of all the triples, like a large percentage, but it's like 33% or something like that, like belongs to catchers.
That's insane.
We'll talk about that after the pod. Don't quote me on that if you're listening, but it's like very close to that stat. I swear it's real. I'm not crazy. Milwaukee, Aaron Savale, he was placed on the 15-day IL with a strained left hamstring. No bueno, as we just saw. They have the worst staff in baseball according to ERA right now. We hate to see that. Pittsburgh, they optioned David Bednar to AAA. Dennis Santana is going to close. I was kind of shocked about that. I thought they were going to let David Bednar kind of work through it, given his track record. I have him in a dynasty league, and I was offered a trade for him last season. I said no. I'm really kicking myself in the butt right now about this one. I should have fucking moved him. I'm so pissed.
Yeah. It's been rough for him the last year and a half. It's just, I mean, he was seen as one of the best closers in baseball. I mean, for a couple of year stretch, whatever it was, and now it's just, I mean, put it light, he's been awful. And it's the hard thing is the whole Pittsburgh bullpen is awful. Like, I am a Pittsburgh Pirates hater, so I do want to see them kind of suck because I'm more pissed off at the owner and Bob Nutting for not giving any offense for that starting rotation or even bullpen help. Like, favorite joke was, hey, Tommy Pham was your offseason addition. I was like, nothing against Tommy Pham, but like, you have a rotation of Skeens, Jones when he was healthy, and Keller and Bubba Chandler on the way too. get them some offense and even bullpen help as well. Because without Bednar, that bullpen, I know he sucked, but it's a lot thinner now.
Yeah, they need. I think they called up Thomas Harrington, so that's
Hmm.
exciting. He's kind of part of that mix of Jared Jones, Skeens, Ashcraft, all these young guys that are now coming up through the Pirates, like pitching machine, Baby Rays, or whatever we want to call them. St. Louis, Ivan Herrera is the first catcher in the organization's history to have a three home run game. Kind of wild because the Cardinals are one of the oldest teams in baseball. So I think they've been around for 130, 140 years, maybe. I don't know. They've been around forever. So that's crazy to see. A Cardinals legend, Lance Lynn, one of Indiana's finest. He's from Brownsburg, Indiana. So I've always loved Lance Lynn. Two-time All-Star. I think he has over 2,000 career strikeouts. He calls it a career. Retires. Are you a Lance Lynn fan? Did he piss you off? I feel like he was very hit or miss depending on the baseball fan.
I love Lance Lynn. I love a little bit of fuck you in the game. Like I love that. Little grab your crotch after you strike a dude out. I mean, even when his stats weren't the best, he would still he's a competitor out there, and I think that's what you really want to see. Is you can tell he loved baseball out there, and he was out there competing, giving his all every single time out there. And something I didn't realize too with him was the only time he ever got Cy Young votes was 2019 to 2021, and he finished fifth, sixth, and then third. And I honestly didn't realize how his best years were that late in his career.
Yeah, he's a weird one when it career, but like career wise, but he was always kind of just like a dog out there. Like you put Lance Lynn on the mound, you think you have a chance in that game, right? Like during the heyday of his career, I'd say anytime Lance Lynn's out there, like a manager could feel comfortable that he can get 5 innings or more out of Lance Lynn. He's not necessarily, yeah, I can't say he's not the biggest strikeout guy. He had 2,000 career strikeouts, but he wasn't like overwhelming or overpowering stuff. He was just like a good pitcher. By the way, the Cardinals were founded in 1882, so they are old as hell.
It is
Yeah,
crazy that Ivan Herrera is the first catcher to do that, and like you're kicking
140
yourself.
years.
You were kicking yourself with the Bednar trade. I was kicking myself because he had those 3 home runs on my bench in fantasy.
It's a tough day. We'll jump finally to the NL West, probably the most exciting division in baseball thus far. We'll start with the Arizona Diamondbacks because they played the Yankees. Zach Gallen had a gem, 13 strikeouts against the Yankees, so kudos to him. We'll talk about this real quick. So, Ketel Marte, probably second best player on the, I don't know, well, second best hitter, we'll say. I think Corbin Carroll's the best player on the Diamondbacks. Maybe it's Ketel Marte. But Ketel Marte is now on the IL for 10 days with a left hamstring strain. So he was hitting 346, and he also had a 930 OPS through his first 8 games. And he just signed that extension that you brought up before the episode. 6 years, $116.5 million. The Arizona Diamondbacks, this sucks, and I'll explain why. They cannot afford to not have their lineup at full strength. I know Eugenio Suarez is playing great. They need to keep up with not only the Dodgers, but the Padres. And I know it's early, but they need their guys healthy. And Ketel Marte is an excellent ball player. Do you have him in the war draft? I don't even know who has him. That's probably the first big injury in the war draft.
It has to be.
Let's say.
It has to, yeah. But like you said too, though,
It was Ethan's first round pick.
he said it the other day. Only guys on he had Kowser as well, and he's got Trout on his team, who's the healthy guy.
Oh my gosh, he does have Kowser as well.
That one,
He does
and
have
Mikey
Jacob Wilson.
picked Kowser for him too. So that one hurts.
He has Jacob Wilson though. He's having a great start.
Yeah.
So Colorado, they just called up Zach Veen right before the episode. If you are needing an outfielder with some excitement, go pick him up in fantasy. He was hitting 387 in the minor leagues this season with a 149 OPS. Anytime someone's one dotting in the OPS, yeah, give him a little look in fantasy. Might be worth it. Freddie Freeman, actually, we'll talk about Jackson Merrill last year, but Freddie Freeman, he placed on the IL. This sucks. Suffering an ankle injury, supposedly in the shower. Who knows how he did it? This is the same ankle he had surgery on before after last season. So I really hate to see that, especially for me because I kept him in my keeper league. But Jackson Merrill, we'll jump to him. Padres are pulling a Alex Anthopoulos here. This is a Braves move, and I love it. So they locked down their young stud, Jackson Merrill. $135 million, 9 years. Hagen, give me one reason not to love this deal for either party.
I can't give you any, honestly, because I love this deal because obviously the Padres are locking up their guy to pair with Fernando Tatis going forward. Even with the ownership issues, with the payroll not going to be able to stay as high as it currently is going forward. But even on the Jackson Merrill front, because I think a lot of these deals, it's you look at it, they're very team friendly, and you look at it as the player's way, like, hey, why would you sign this deal? But if you look at for Jackson Merrill, he just guaranteed himself 100 what 15 or 35 million dollars, and he's 21 years, 22 years old, and you give that's life changing money. His family is set up for the rest of life. I mean, yeah, he could have maybe made $300 million if he waited 4 years, but what if he got hurt? What if he had a down year? He has the guaranteed money now, and even then, I mean, the club option on the back end at 2035. He's free agent in 2036. He's going to be 33 that year. He can still get a good deal after that. Like it's not like this is signed for the rest of his career. That's all he can get. I mean, he could still earn over $200 million in his career, which I love. So I think this is a great deal for both parties.
Oh, yeah. And I just pulled this up. If you look at average, Jackson Merrill is tied fourth in baseball right now with batting 378 this season. He was a stud last year, and he would have won NL Rookie of the Year had there not been a man named Paul Skeens, who is a unicorn. Jackson Merrill, he found an awesome place in San Diego. He's going to be running mates with, Fernando Tatis Jr. for a while. They got Leo DeVries coming up, who they're going to have young control over him. I love this for San Diego. I think it's the perfect complement to Fernando Tatis Jr. I think that with opt-outs, whatever, he will, increase how much money he's going to get paid throughout the years. And he can get him, like you said, another massive, $200 million deal. When you're this young, and especially given the market conditions right now, use this cash once it kicks in next year, and he probably got a $10 million signing bonus or something like that. Put it in the market. He's 22 years old, He's going to be living in San Diego, buy a house. Good for him. I'm very happy for Jackson Merrill.
I think it's also important to note too, like you said. So he also got, I think it was $10 million signing bonus. So 21-year-old who's making the league minimum just got $10 million in his pocket, can go get a house now, like you said. And even too with the incentives in it, yeah, it's $135 million, but he can bring that up to $204 million in incentives. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the incentives are just games played. So it's pretty much just, hey, stay healthy.
Yeah, and endorsements, and the guy's set. Good for you, man. Way to earn your cake, because he deserves every single one of those dollars. And you know what? This is actually a really good transition to close out the show here. Eye popping stat of the week. This is something we did last year. Haven't done it yet this year, but finally, the season started. This is actually not a stat on the field. This is off the field. So this is according to Bleacher Report. Due to a massive offseason spending, extravaganza this year, the average yearly salary for an MLB player has surpassed $5 million per player on average. This is the first time in league history it's ever been north of that number. It's actually up to $5.2 million per player. So it had a $500,000 jump from last year. And this is a very big increase since 2021, when the average was $3.7 million. Baseball is flourishing right now, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I wanted to end on a positive note, because baseball, I saw someone use the word renaissance to describe it. It was, yeah. And I think that's what baseball is having right now. I think basketball, the NBA sucks right now. It is not a fun product, and the viewership and all that, don't at me. The NBA is garbage. And the NFL, I think the NFL is very entertaining, but at the same time, there's been just a lot of, not political, but just BS, between player safety, games played, changes, rules, the way it's officiated. There's a lot. And then hockey, come on, Ovechkin scoring. Kudos to Alexander Ovechkin, now the all-time goal scorer for the NHL as of today. But that's the biggest news in NHL that I've heard in the last 10 years. So I feel like the NHL is kind of irrelevant right now. So baseball, this is its time to capitalize on this. And, these players with a few extra dollars in their pocket, they can go get some seeds from Chinook Seedery. Shameless plug here at the episode.
Yeah.
Remember, go listen to the Skipper's View podcast, Spotify, Apple Music. Go to ChinookSeedery.com. Use the Skipper's View as a discount code for 10% off. And yeah, we'll have blogs coming out this week. Anything big from you, Hagen, that you want to mention before we hop off?
I mean, you brought up Paul Skeens' name, and I feel like we got to at least bring up. I mean, he was just on the cover of GQ. I mean, that's what else can he not do? I mean, this guy's
I try not to, because he does get so much attention right now, and it's like, like if someone's too popular, I'm not like a hater. I love Paul Skeens. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't want to cloud people. Like, we talked about Harrington though. Maybe
yeah.
maybe it'll be awesome running mates, especially with Jared Jones being injured right now. So we'll see what goes on there. Outside of that, I am out of comments for baseball right now until we get some more updates this week with games. Definitely go be sure to check out the website and follow our socials to see what we're calling out and what we're seeing. Thank you all for listening. Bye.